love it when a flame comes through. Kia ora, good morning, and welcome to a beautiful, super fantastic, sparkling winning Wednesday. I am Helen Brahms, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona, and been having a very cool start to the day. Well, yeah, very cool start to the day. My poor dog didn't know. Zeffy. Must be a dog going past that she knows very well. So if you hear any whining, she's talking to the dogs outside the window that cannot hear her. Or maybe they can and can't figure out where it's coming from. But anyway, so what are your wins for this week? This is the day that we celebrate our wins for the week, even though we should be celebrating the wins as they happen. So what wins are you celebrating this week? I've got some projects that got completed this week. I made important connections yesterday. I had fun making connections yesterday. It's just been an awesome, awesome week, I have to tell you. But my poor dog was so confused last night. She kept coming out to me and like, look at me, whine, come over, I'll give her some pets, should have something to eat, should have something to drink, should go back to bed again. And it wasn't until the fourth time she came out that I thought, why do you keep coming out? What's going on? And I looked at the clock and it was 12:56 in the morning. And I was like, oh, now I see why you've been coming out. She was doing what Brad did, coming out. Why aren't you coming to bed? I'm going to bed. Why aren't you coming to bed? That's just what Brad used to do. So it was probably around 1:15, 1:30 by the time I finally crawled into bed this morning. And then I was rudely awakened by my alarm clock at 5:07. So, but that's okay. It's my own fault. But then I was getting dressed and I feel like wearing purple today. So I pulled out this t-shirt, and I don't know if you can see this. It says dead relatives, irritating living. Yes, I do genealogy. So it's written on the front of the shirt. So I saw the stay up late and I thought that is so appropriate since I didn't get to bed till 1:15 and 1:30 this morning. So I'm operating on not a lot of sleep, which is why I've got the suitcases under my eyes. But yesterday I belong to a group that a guy in England has set up, which is for a name that is in my ancestry that I come from. And he does a one name research. And one name research is he just solely concentrates on that last name, that surname, and he researches everybody that has that name and sees to where they can fit them on the tree. He's got this website which has thousands of people in it, and he finds people from all over the world who share their stories with him. Like he went down so far on my side with my second great grandmother, but he went down that leg so far, but he didn't have my second great grandmother in there. So I contacted him. This was years ago. Contacted him, explained to him who I was, how I was related to the scantleberries that were in his tree, and so I was able to give him the information on the scantleberries that went to New Zealand because he didn't have that information. So I was able to provide him with the documents and everything else so that he could, because you got to prove everything before you put them in you can put them into what we call a working tree, which is one that you know that things are, you're verifying things. And then you can have a clean tree off to the side, which is where you would transfer information over once it's all verified. And you can say, yes, that person belongs in the tree. Put them in there. But I find it easier to have a working tree where I can see the connections. And then if the connections aren't there, I can break that connection, but still have that person in the tree, because then I can reattach them later on if they fit in somewhere else. But he's been doing this one name research for years. And he started up this Facebook group just for people who are ancestors of this last name. And it's been really weird because somebody contacted me through Ancestry and said, oh, I've got this, I'm related to this particular one. And I turn around and says, oh, have you been in contact with this person? Because back in 2017, through the DNA matches, I got contacted by a guy in Canada, and it turned out he is my seventh cousin. And so and he wasn't sure how he said, we've got a DNA match, but I'm not sure how it comes in. And I said, well, and so we started going back till we came to a name that I knew. And I went, oh, hang on. And I said, who is your great grandmother? And she was it was a great grandmother. And so I said, oh, let me go look. And I went and I found the connection. So I typed into him. It says, here's my second great grandmother. She's the daughter of, who's the son of, who's the son of, the son of, who gets up to this person. And it was like, so my fifth great grandfather was brothers with his fifth great grandfather. And then I was able to bring him down as to we went up to this guy, that the grandparent we had in common. And then I said, and then, this is my fifth great grandfather. Here's your fifth great grandfather. And here's his line down to you, or down to your great grandmother. And so we're able to put that connection all together and everything else. And when I put it into my program, because with Ancestry, you can nominate the person who is like the main person of the thing. Then anytime you add anybody to the tree, it will put what your relation you are to that person that you've just added to the tree. So it does all. It used to have this really cool tool where you could put in this person's name and this person's name and see if there was a connection to them and how they were connected. But they took that tool away, and now it's just on the main person. And I'm like, well, that kind of sucks, because I like saying, oh, well, if I'm related this way to this person, I wonder how this person in my tree is related to that person. But now I have to sit down and manually figure it out. And so, yeah, it's kind of a little different. But, we got there, found out we're seventh cousins. Well, then fast forward to this past month, where I got contacted by somebody else. And she's from the same great grandmother that my seventh cousin is from. And so she's from that same person, and we figured out where her connection was as well. And she's my seventh cousin, one time removed. And so we became friends on Facebook, got her into the group. So I said, you need to be in this group to find out more information and connect with other people who have this person in common with you. And so we got her into the group, and like this is all taking place in the last 2 days. 2 or 3 days. It's only been this way. It's just been this week. So it might have been Monday. It was either Sunday or Monday when she was officially added into the group and welcome to the group. Then there was another person who was added to the group, and he had that same common ancestor that my seventh cousin had, my seventh cousin one time removed had, and it turns out he's also my seventh cousin. So, and all three of them have been added to the group in the last 2 to 3 days. One of them was yesterday, and he was the first one I met years ago, and I thought that we'd already added him to that group, but obviously not. Actually, because I couldn't find him on Facebook. We weren't friends on Facebook at the time, because I just sent him a friend request yesterday. And so there's been all this, and then there's been all this chatter going backwards and forwards through Facebook Messenger with them, finding out clues and hints and telling them the information that I know, because Richard knew I had made that connection for them and had taken the tree further, because he only went as far as the Scantleberry name. And then once they got married, he didn't go to anybody after that. He may have them in other records, but as far as his tree go, it only dealt with people with the last name Scantleberry. So he knew who they had married and that, but he didn't have a lot of details of their descendants, whereas I have a lot of details on their descendants. So we were able to put some pieces of the puzzle together for them. They've been able to fill in some gaps for me. And so there's been a lot of Facebook messages going backwards and forwards on related and all that. But out of those three, I've only got a DNA match with one of them, even though the other two, I think, have put their DNA in, but for some reason, Ancestry hasn't connected us yet through the DNA results, which I thought was kind of interesting, considering the fact that these people are all second cousins, or the two seventh cousins are actually second cousins to each other, and the one who's a seventh cousin once removed is a second cousin once removed to them. So they're kind of closer in family relations and stuff. So it's been a whirlwind last few days. Once I've done with all of my stuff for my clients and everything else, this was my playtime. And I wasn't planning on doing that. I was planning on going sitting in the recliner, putting my feet up, doing some puzzles and just chilling. And then I got on Facebook, and that was the end of that. So it's been awesome. And we're sharing it. And so I'm helping them. So I'm going to be sharing more information with them about what I know, what I have researched, what I have verified, and learn more about them and what they know about the people that are in the tree and what they have that's verified and everything else. So it's going to be a lot of fun connecting with these people. And so 2 of them are in Wales, one's in Canada. I don't know if the Canadian one's still there. He may still be there. But yeah, so 2 are in Wales and one's in Canada. So I'm sort of like, yay, this is fun. So that inspired, this morning's question of the day for, tell your story question. Who is the most proven distant cousin that you have met, and how did you meet them? So by proven, we mean that you can actually trace, and you have verified records that this is how you're connected. So I have all the verified records on how we're connected. So as far as I know, these 3 are the most distant cousins I have at seventh cousins. And even though we've only met online and through the chats and emails and things, I still consider it a meet. And I've got, I've been able to verify my tree back to where our common great-grandfather is, which is our 6th great-grandfather, and then bring it down to their side of the tree and figure out where they fit in. And of course, that does, who's your father? Who's your mother? You come from this person, and they're your great-grandmother or your grandmother, so who? Fill in the gaps for me, please. And it turns out that my 7th cousin once removed, her birthday is 2 days before mine. So she does have a few more years on me, but it's like, she had 12? Yeah, 12 years. She's 12 years older than me. But her birthday is 2 days before mine. And so I saw the birthday on her Facebook profile. So I said, just saw that your birthday was December 7th. I said, do you mind me asking? I said, what year were you born? If you don't mind me asking. And so she told me that. And then she goes, oh, you've got a birthday in common with Dommy Osmond. I said, yes, I do. And I also have a birthday in common with Dame Judi Dench, John Malkovich, Beau Bridges, the late Kurt Russell. Those are all my favorite ones. There's a whole bunch of celebrities that were born on December the 9th. And I found out yesterday that Shark Tank, long blonde Laurie is also December the 9th as well. So I was like, cool. There's some really good people on December the 9th. And then, of course, I have met people. It'll be 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years ago on my birthday that I would have met another couple. I met a couple where the wife, her birthday is the same day as mine, and that was our first time we were on the river cruise, and we sat and I was sitting opposite her, and they brought out the cake for her because we bought it on my birthday, and it was her 60th birthday and my 45th. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And then the other one I met was a business development manager for one of the cruise lines I was working with, and we're like 3/4 of the way through recording the podcast at the time when we worked out that we both have the same birthday. I'm 3 years older, but we're both born on the same day. So it's kind of fun. And then I remembered last night I had organized a group cruise, and one of the members on the group cruise sent in his paperwork. And when I had to do the call with him to get his payment information, I said to him, are you sure your birthday's correct? He goes, yeah, why? I said, it's the same day as mine. Different years, but the same day. So it's interesting where you meet people with the same birthday as yours, all within days. And one of my clients that I work with, she is 2 days younger than me. And then I thought, actually, technically it's 3 days. I'm the 9th, she's the 11th, but I was born in New Zealand. So when it was the 11th here in the States, it was actually the 12th in New Zealand. So technically it's kind of 3 days, if you want to get technical. And then I was on a plane down to New Zealand. When I flew down to New Zealand back in 2018 for Christmas, there was a lady from Mexico next to me, and she asked me to help her fill out the form because she could speak English well, but she couldn't read it very well. And I said, not a problem. And so I asked her what her birthday was. Her birthday was the 8th of December, same year as me. So she was a day older than me. But then I thought we're actually born on the same day, because 8th of December in Mexico would have been the 9th of December in New Zealand. When you bring timelines into it, it's very, very interesting when you bring the different time zones into it. So, so it's kind of fun when you find people with birthdays around the same time as you. So December's getting a very full month. And then I found on the 7th cousins that I'm working with, I found out that one of them has a father or a grandfather that was December 26th. Another one has, and then somebody else in that area has a birthday that's December 28th. And December 28th is my wedding anniversary. So like, wow, all these December celebrations. It's a great month. Anyway, so who is the most proven distant cousin? Like, you don't turn around and go, oh yeah, and there could be some breaks in the chain, but that you have actually gone back and proven with documentation and everything else that yes, this is definitely my seventh cousin once removed, whatever. What is the most distant proven cousin that you have met, whether it's online or in person, and how did you meet them? So mine were all met through two of them were met through Ancestry, one through the DNA research. The other one contacted me because I had her great-great-grandmother in my tree, and so she wanted to know more about that. And then the third one I met when he joined the Facebook group in the last 2 to 3 days. In the last, 2 or 3 days. It's been a whirlwind 2 or 3 days, I tell you. I know that The one I met in 2017 joined the group yesterday. And the other two were either the day before, or either Monday, or they were Sunday. I have a feeling they were Monday, though. Yeah, they might have been Monday. But anyway, so in the last 2 to 3 days, it's been a whirlwind catching it, finding all these new cousins. So anyway, that's it. I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling day. Celebrate your wins. And we will catch you guys around 6 p.m. Mountain Time this evening. And we get to talk some more. Got some news coming up. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we'll catch you at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Hey, konara.